On June 26, 2014, the trajectory of basketball history shifted forever, but nobody saw it. Not because it was a secret, but because the world was busy looking at a cheesy, beef-filled tortilla. As the Denver Nuggets used the 41st pick to draft a doughy teenager from Sombor, Serbia, ESPN was airing a Taco Bell commercial for the Cuadrito. It is the most disrespectful introduction a legend has ever had, and in hindsight, it was perfect. While the scouts were looking for the next Greek freak or a high-flying vertical leap, the greatest player of the generation was being announced. This is a story of Nikolajokic, a man who didn't need to be an athlete to dismantle the greatest league on earth. How it started. Nikolajokic's childhood in Sombor, Serbia is one of the most unique origin stories in sports history. Long before he was an NBA MVP, he was a chubby kid who was more interested in horse racing and snacks than professional basketball. Jokic grew up in a tiny two-bedroom apartment that housed 6 people: Nikola, his parents, 2 older brothers, Strahinja and Nemanja, and his grandmother. Despite the small space, the brothers were obsessed with basketball. They hung a toy plastic hoop in one of the doors, and the 3 of them would play intensely, often resulting in broken furniture and a very frustrated neighbor downstairs. Because his brothers were much older, Strahinja by 13 years and Nemanja by 11, Nikola was literally a baby with a pacifier when he started watching them play on local outdoor courts. It was often said his game is a mix of both. Strahinja was a strong enforcer, while Nemanja was the talented playmaker. Growing up in war-torn Serbia, Jokic was 4 years old in 1999 during the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia. He has vivid memories of hiding in bomb shelters and living in the dark to avoid detection. Speaking out about the war, he said, "I remember things like sirens, bomb shelters, always turning off the lights, even at 9 a.m. Everything was turned off." His background is often cited by analysis as the reason for his legendary calm. After surviving a war, a high-pressure NBA playoff game seems relatively trivial. The stable boy versus the basketball player. For a long time, basketball was actually Jokic's second choice. His true passion was harness racing. Between the ages of 12 and 14, he barely practiced basketball. He spent his mornings and afternoons at the stables as a stable boy, cleaning stalls and training horses. Even today, his love for horses remains his primary hobby. He famously accepted his 2022 MVP trophy at his horse stable in Sombor while wearing his racing gear. The fat point guard. In his early teens, Jokic was famously out of shape. He was known for drinking 3 liters of Coca-Cola a day and eating massive amounts of burek. Because Serbian coaches emphasized skill over size, Jokic was never forced to just stand under the basket, despite his height. He was encouraged to dribble and pass like a point guard, which is why he now possesses the best touch of any big man in history. When he eventually signed with the professional team Mega Basket at age 17, his trainers were shocked to find he couldn't even do a single proper push-up. He had genius-level basketball IQ, but he had to be physically built from scratch. His brothers were notoriously hard on him. There's a famous story that Strahinja once held Nikola's arms down and threw knives around his head for refusing to climb a tree during a game of Dare. While it sounds terrifying, Nikola views his brothers as his biggest protectors and mentors. They moved with him to Denver when he was drafted to ensure he stayed focused and didn't fall into the same party lifestyle traps that Nemanja admitted ruined his own basketball career. Life in the NBA. By every traditional metric of NBA superstardom, Jokic has no business being there. He doesn't have a 40-inch vertical. In fact, on some nights, it looks like he can't jump over a phone book. He doesn't possess a lightning-quick first step. And he definitely doesn't have the chiseled Greek god physique associated with modern stars. In a league of hyper-athletes, men who look like they were built on a laboratory to sprint, fly, and shatter backboards, Jokic looks like the guy who shows up late to your local racing event because he was finishing a sandwich. During his first scouting reports, one of the biggest red flags was that he supposedly couldn't even do a single push-up. Yet he didn't just survive in the NBA, he broke it. This might be difficult to believe, but it's a fact. The NBA is a game of speed and explosion. The governing law is simple. If you can't beat your man to the spot, you lose. If you can't out-jump the defender, you get swatted. But Jokic operates under a different set of rules. While everyone else is redlining at 100 miles per hour, Jokic is cruising at 25. But here's a secret. Because he's never moving fast, he's never out of control. In elite racing, there's a saying, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. By moving slower, he forces a defense to react to him. He waits for the athlete to jump, and while they're suspended in the air, helpless against gravity, he chooses his angle. It's the ultimate manifestation of the tortoise beating the hare. Except this tortoise has a 7-foot frame and the touch of a neurosurgeon. The water polo's secret. Jokic is a break from the norm, but his most baffling skill isn't how he scores. It's how he sees things before they happen. To understand his court vision, you have to leave the hardwood and go to the swimming pool. In Serbia, water polo is a national obsession. It's a brutal, exhausting sport where you must tread water while opponents literally try to drown you. In water polo, you can't dribble. You have to use one hand to flick a wet, heavy ball across a pool with pinpoint accuracy. This is where the Joker was born. When passing, Jokic doesn't just throw the ball, he flicks it, palms it, and uses touch passes that look alien to basketball players. He doesn't look where his teammates are, he looks where the defenders aren't, rewriting the record books. The numbers back up his ability in a terrifying way. His true shooting percentage, which factors in the value of threes and free throws, often hovers around a staggering 70%. To put that in perspective, most elite guards are happy with 58%. His player efficiency rating, or PER, has literally rewritten the record books. In the 21-22 season, Jokic recorded a PER of 32.85, the highest in NBA history at the time, surpassing the obsolete peaks of Michael Jordan and LeBron James. He is producing more value per minute than any human has ever played the game. He's doing it while looking like he's playing in flip-flops. The ultimate litmus test. The 2023 run. For years, critics said Jokic's laid-back style would fail in the playoffs. They said real athletes would eventually hunt him down. The 2023 championship run was the final exam. He started by dismantling the Timberwolves' Twin Towers lineup. He then proceeded to the Western Conference Finals. He faced Anthony Davis, perhaps the most perfect defensive big man in modern history. Davis is faster, jumps higher, and has a longer reach. It didn't matter. Jokic averaged a 30-point triple-double for the series. He didn't beat AD with a 360 dunk. He beat him with geometry and a Sambora shuffle fadeaway that is impossible to block. Davis was his penultimate test. His final test was against Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat. Bam is a defensive Swiss Army knife who can guard all 5 positions. Jokic treated the NBA Finals like a casual Sunday morning at the stables. He became the first player in NBA history to lead the entire playoffs in total points, 600, total rebounds, 269, and total assists, 190. Not just for his team, but for every player in the league. He didn't break the Heat's spirit with a highlight reel, he broke it with a calculator. New definition of athlete. Before Jokic, we defined athleticism by prowess, how high you can jump or how fast you can run. But Jokic suggests a different definition. For the Joker, athleticism is having such total control over your body that you never waste a single calorie movement. Nikolajokic broke the NBA because he proved that the mind is a more powerful muscle than the quads. He proved that you can be drafted during a Taco Bell commercial and still end up as the most inevitable force on. The Joker is the least athletic superstar we've ever seen. He's the smartest. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how the Joker rewrote the NBA rulebook, hit the like and share buttons. Also, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and ring the bell. We've got more stories coming on the players who change the game by doing things their own way.